Hey, this is Bridget from Waterfall Arts in Belfast, Maine, and today I wanted to show you how you can get your kids set up for a super creative project that allows them to add color without you having to deal with paint. Paint is super fun, all kids want to do it, but it can require you sitting at the table with them, which you might not have time for, and it's not always the best for the kids' creativity for you to be there. But also, it's a lot more mess, and it's something else that you have to buy. It becomes sort of precious, which then puts a little bit of pressure on the kids to make something great versus just being able to experiment. An alternative to paint, if you haven't already discovered them, are tempera paint sticks. These are wonderful. They dry really fast. They're super washable, but using them actually has nothing to do with painting. It's a drawing action. So this project is perfect if your kids just can't wait to get their hands on a paintbrush, but you just can't deal with the mess of having different colors of paint out. This is a sculptural project. So the first thing that you can do together is check out the recycle bin and find some clean, fun shapes that might inspire them to create something. Then you just need a roll of clear packing tape, some white glue, washable glue, a little bit of water, and something to mix that up in. And then the chunkiest kind of brush that you have, an old foam brush that you can get at the dollar store, works well for this. You can get a pack of 3 colors of tissue paper at the dollar store for about $1.25, and that's all you need to add color. We're going to be painting with paper today. I recommend getting your kids set up with like 10 pieces of packing tape pre-cut and set up along the edge of their working surface. This makes it physically easy for them to deal with, but also makes them think more critically about when they really need a piece of tape. Then they can get started ripping up pieces of tissue paper and the colors that they would like to use, so that then they have a nice palette of colors to work with. This particular pack actually had 3 colors that are a kind of pastel version of the primaries, so that there's also the opportunity for some color mixing discoveries when you overlap them. The last thing you might need to help with during this stage is getting labels off of especially glass jars. That can take a little bit of scrubbing, but it's worth it since the tissue paper is transparent. Now you can go do something else while the kids get busy figuring out how to create a 3-dimensional sculpture. And do keep in mind that they might make something that is abstract, or maybe they're deciding what it is after it's done. So the best thing you can do when you're checking in on them is just praising them for getting creative and doing some problem solving on their own. If you do have some pieces that aren't sticking and they've tried several times and their problem solving has come to a stop, a great tip to give them is tape loves tape. So I just covered this piece of cork in clear tape and tried it again and got those little legs stuck on. This is how much water not to add to your glue. This is a good amount, and that is too much. You want to use about 2 parts glue to 1 part water. It still worked with this watery mess. It just took a long time to stir and was a little bit messier than it needed to be. I didn't mention it's also nice to leave your kid with a wet rag in a bowl just in case they need to get up for something and they can easily wipe off their hands. This process of painting with paper is called paint, place, paint. So you paint a bunch of glue all over the area that you want to deal with, place your paper, nice to overlap it over another piece, and paint on top of it. And repeat until your whole thing is covered up. Making a sandwich of glue underneath and on top of the paper creates a nice sheen, and it also makes the sculpture a little bit stronger. So here is the pig while it's still wet, so you can see all of the dark areas are still watery, wet areas. There'll be a picture at the end of the pig in all of her dry glory. This painting with paper technique is great on glass, as I mentioned earlier, for making translucent things like these little battery votive holders. And here is the pig, nice and dry. Now, keep in mind, you might be tempted to comment on your artist's creation when you don't have confirmation about what it actually is. So, in other words, you might want to say, "What is it?" or "What a cute little kitty." Instead, I always suggest you say something like, "Who is the little friend that you brought into our home today?" Or "What have you been working on in here? I'm so proud of you and how independently you've been working." tell me about what you did. That way, kids get to feel super successful in their creative endeavors. Even if they were just messing around and it's not the best thing they've ever created, they get to tell you what it is and what they like about it. I hope this has inspired you and empowered you to get your kids set up on a fun project at home. I really appreciate it when parents take the time to help their kids develop their creativity. And as always, I'm here to help. We hope to see you soon at Waterfall Arts. Have fun.